Road racing's the best thing in the world. The best thing in the world.
Ooh, look at the coast. Ooh, look at the golf course. Like, oh, this place is so pretty. You know, you're like, oh wait, I'm here racing.
Just the beaches and stuff, it's where you came, and obviously to have a race around here as well, it just makes it even better.
We're right on the coast here, which obviously adds to the weather and brings in some interesting conditions.
This is the most picturesque. Yeah, we do get a little bit of rain.
It's a dangerous sport, it's public road.
I've had 5 fatalities in 20 years.
It's a different commitment. Some corners maybe wouldn't want to crash too spectacular, you could end up with the dolphins.
The speeds around the Northwest 200 course have increased over the years, 208, 210 miles per hour.
It feels like the road becomes narrower and narrower the quicker you go.
I suppose that's what attracts people to the triangle course.
We're all in it because we like the rush.
I see Ireland as the capital of road racing.
Actually, one of the best bits of tarmac in racing, like full stop.
It's our largest outdoor sporting event in the island of Ireland. 100,000 people are going to be here on Saturday.
There's riders from all around the world.
The whole show, the paddock, everything around the circuit is top tier.
When I was a kid, instead of going on holidays, it was a May holiday to Northwest 200 to watch my dad race. It never leaves you, even you grow up, you sort of remember them childhood memories.
It is a real family affair.
The hospitality here is second to none.
To stand on the podium here, particularly on the top, is a really special feeling. I can speak for all riders when I say it's absolutely epic. We all love it.
Like any sport and road racing, there's a dark side to it.
The Northwest 200, it's right on the north coast of Northern Ireland. It's 15 miles away from the Giant's Causeway, which is one of the wonders of the world. It runs between the towns of Portrush, Portstewart and Coleraine, 2 seaside resorts, and then in towards Coleraine, which is really a market town itself.
It's a track of 3 towns, heading to Portstewart. The sea is beside you at all times, you know. Wouldn't want to crash too spectacular, you could end up in with the dolphins as such, but you know, after you leave Portstewart, it's head down, full steam ahead to Coleraine, very fast section of the track, speeds of up to and over 200 miles an hour. You get to Coleraine, you sort of do the same again. This time you come back to Portrush, and it's come back to Portrush on an incredibly fast part of the track. A couple of chicanes to introduce some sort of control the speeds. You know, we do get back up to them speeds, but it's certainly from these chicanes have been entered. I think a lot of lives have been saved. But when we get from Portrush to Portstewart, this is where the race is won. It's a coast road. The large slipstream effect that's all behind you, because on them long straights you can pass each other several times at high speed. And now it's just man, machine, lots of corners, technical, and it's where your ability can sort of, the cream rises to the top. You approach Juniper chicane, the last sort of section, you want to be leading there. That is the last chance to take the race lead. And from then you should be able to defend up Juniper Hill around the last corner and across the line. And done that 4 times, incredible feeling.
A regular competitor can take on a maximum of 5 races on the day itself. Newcomers can only take on a maximum of 3. But you know, you get the likes of Alistair Seeley, you know, well, Glenn Irwin's just in the Superbike class, but Alistair Seeley, who's 600, you know, Superstock, Supersport, you know, we get a lot of riders who do all classes themselves and then race in the 5 events. Whereas you have guys who maybe just sort of select Superbike, Supersport, Superstock, Supertwin type of thing, you know. Well, we're blessed, we have a lot of really good racers in this particular country itself. The Northwest 200 is a mass start, which is the big difference. The only other road race, if you like, which is a mass start, I suppose probably Macau. You know, and the TT is an individual start. The speeds around the Northwest 200 course have increased over the years. You know, back a number of years ago we had Michael Rutter, you know, at 208, 210 miles per hour. It's a high-speed course itself, and I suppose that's what attracts people to the triangle course, you know, because of the mass start, the cream of the riders that we get at the end of the day, and because of the scenic area.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? You know, that's part of the reason why we come to Northwest 200 and enjoy these beautiful golf courses and on a Wednesday. It's quite a different format than we normally race, where you get a day off in between. So yeah, really enjoying it.
The thing about the Northwest 200 and the difference is it's very much a family event. You know, that parents come here with the kids. You know, you have a lot of people who travel here. You know, there's a lot of holiday homes around the area, caravan parks, motor homes, you know, right across the north coast here. So, you know, all those people are down in their droves to watch the Northwest 200. So, very, very much a family event.
When I was a kid, instead of going on holidays, it was, you know, a May holiday to Northwest 200 to watch my dad race, and being absorbed in that atmosphere sort of never leaves you. Even you grow up, you sort of remember them childhood memories. You know, it's really special memories.
As I was growing up, obviously coming here, Portrush was one of the main places to go. Not so much Port Stewart, but Portrush, because we've got that big amusement centre. Just the beaches and stuff, it's where you came, and obviously to have a race around here as well, it just makes it even better. You had the Philip McCallans, the Joey Dunlops, the Robert Dunlops racing, and I was only a wee nipper. Come with my dad, he brought me up, and waving programmes at them on the last lap to try and win the races over the visitors. So it's a special place, it's set in a really nice area, and for me that's what probably attracted me to do it. You know, I felt that the atmosphere made feel welcome, and whenever you get a good weather up here, sure, there's nowhere better to be.
My dad loves it. Him and my mum are up all week in a motorhome beside mine. We have a house up behind the paddock. The rest of my brothers are there. My 3 teammates are all over. 2 of them are Japanese. They're over to see it for the first time. My other teammate from England is over. My own 2 kids are here along with my partner Laura. We've been cycling the coast most of the week. We've cycled to Port Stewart for ice creams, and you know, you buy the big lollies like the Rock, you know, like the holiday sort of sweet shops, and we've been in the amusements in Portrush, and we're eating good food every night, and that it is a real family affair. But that family sort of atmosphere sort of continues rider to rider as well. We sort of embrace each other a little bit more here than we do on circuit racing, and that's purely down to the respect that we have all for what we're doing. Luckily, I have a lot of fan support here, and I think I thrive on that. So there is probably expectation from people for me to perform and to win, but I want to win anyway, so it's not more pressure. I don't feel pressure that everyone wants me to win. I want to win. I don't expect to win in an arrogant way, but I expect to be there. If I do a good job, then that's what happens. So the pressure side of it, when the helmet's on, you know, you do your warm-up lap, it all sort of goes away. But yeah, there's a lot of hype. But honestly, the fans make this place. It is lined nearly 8.9 miles, lined with spectators. 100,000 people are going to be here on Saturday. Probably, I don't know, 80–90% of them want me to win. It's a nice feeling.
I've been travelling all over the world. I still think this is the most picturesque. Yeah, we do get a little bit of rain and changeable weather, but when it's sunny here, there's nothing like it in the whole world. And I think people come because of the friendliness of the Northern Irish people as well. You know, we're well known for our hospitality.
It's our largest outdoor sporting event in the island of Ireland. It gets talked about all year round. When it finishes, we'll talk about how it's going to be next year. People just making a long weekend with their families, watch some amazing bike racing, the best road racers in the world. And for me, what's special about it and what I love about it, it's head-to-head racing. 200 mile an hour, groups of 16 to 20, waves of perhaps more. I like racing. You know, I like time trial, and the TT is unique. I like watching head-to-head racing. I like to know who crosses the line first. That's racing. Unlike other international road events, it may also attract some top British Superbike riders that just come in and do the Northwest. It's perhaps seen to be easier to learn than other courses, so it can attract top short circuit riders at the same time. The eras of Ray McCullochs, Tom Herons, the Dunlops, the Dunlop dynasty still continues, you know, with Michael and I, and you know, I think we all attach ourselves to the Dunlop name a bit, and the Northwest 200 certainly holds a big part of that as well. My dad, he started it off, lots of battles with Joey Dunlop here, finished on the podium numerous times, you know, probably should have won. Thankfully I've had it 4, so we've got a few wins in the family. You know, my brother Andrew, top British Superbike rider, he's done some World Championship racing, has decided, you know, at this stage not to do the Northwest, but At one stage I thought like that. We've just spoke about the dangers. It's a different commitment. You know, when you commit yourself to this, you are accepting that you probably are increasing the likelihood of achieving your dreams. You also increase that, because when you win here it's fairy tale, but you also increase the chance of the worst happening. So Andrew has stayed away from it, and I think he perhaps a promise to my dad, but I think I made the same promise, and here we are a few years later. This week I'm in the Superbike and the Superstock 1000 class. So my reasons are I ride Superbike week in, week out in British Championship, and a Superstock 1000 is very similar, both 1000cc bikes. 2 classes, 3 races in total on the main race day Saturday and 1 race on a Thursday evening. It's enough. I was always a fan before I was a racer here, and that sort of schedule allows me also to become a fan in between and enjoy watching some races. Come Saturday, usually you finish the race weekend, and it's a bit like, it's over. It's always nice because of the dangers we spoke about. But if you've won as well, and particularly you've won that last big race, it's like, oh, it's over, we're here, we've made a few quid, let's go get drunk. And camaraderie's great here, love it.
I first came here in 2019 when I was a newcomer, and it took me a few laps to take it all in. Because, I mean, yes, we're supposed to go out there and learn the circuit, but I came to the town, I was like, ooh, look at the coast, ooh, look at the golf course, like, oh, this place is so pretty, you know, you're like, oh wait, I'm here racing. Actually, I'm the complete opposite of a normal motorcycle racer. So most motorcycles racers start, you know, either a family member or someone else influenced them to start, and they start real young, 4 or 5 years old. I asked my parents for a motorcycle, and they told me what most parents said: move out of the house and then you can get one. My first little motorcycle was a used banana seat. It was so ugly bike, but I thought I was Steve McQueen on that thing. I was riding up and down on the street. Like, I think everything about motorcycles is just freedom and passion, and you know, it's a subculture. You meet so many people that like motorbikes, and it doesn't matter if you're on a Harley or a sport bike or an adventure bike, you're all mates when you see each other. You just respect each other. I didn't do my first track day till I was 25 years old, and I was just addicted from the moment I started. It was just like, wow, I can go fast without cops or without deer or anything else, you know, and it was amazing to be able to go really fast, and I was addicted to that. You know, the first time I touched my knee on the ground, I was like, ah, what was that? It scared me a little bit, but as far as road racing goes, that's a whole nother addiction within itself. I definitely think I'm addicted to the buzz that comes around everything that's here, the circuit, the country, the motorbikes, the fans. You know, it's an event. It's not just a race in itself, and I just love everything about it. I know there's a lot of adversity that I faced, not only being a female in a male-dominated sport, but starting later in life, starting with no coaching or experience. I didn't have dirt bike experience, like nothing when I started. But I think women are pretty stubborn and determined once they really like to do something, and I feel like overcoming that adversity maybe made me a better rider. You know, had I started younger, you know, I don't know if I would have been as good or loved it as much as I do now, where now it's a real passion of mine. Everything about road racing is about adversity. You have to be an adverse rider and be able to adapt and overcome and change to all the conditions that can be. Because even if you put full wets on, you know, there's bumps and there's hedges and there's all kinds of different things. You have to be able to adapt your riding and just overcome. And the weather is just a big part of what brings you here and what you have to deal with.
Seen Patricia first race in, I think it was 2019 in Ulster Grand Prix. I was very impressed with her. I liked her style, I liked her personality. Quite open, talking to everybody, and she was quite good in the bike too, so that sold it. And then I just asked her would she like to ride for the team at some stage, and she was happy enough, and we talked things over, and that was it then. She ended up riding for me.
I'm going to be racing in Superbike, Stock 1000, and Supersport, all on Kawasaki's. 3 separate bikes, so it's a real proper Superbike, about 225 horsepower. Stock 1000's about 207, 208 horsepower. And then we have the ZX6 R2 that's putting out about 127 horsepower. Motorcycles are so much part of the culture here, and I love it. You'll see fans, they're so dedicated. It's unbelievable, incredible to me. Like, I'll go to a gas station and there'll be motorbikes up and people will recognize you, or you'll go anywhere and it's just like, the fans here are incredible. I love all the fans here. Like, truly, it's a big part of why I like coming back. And it's just great to see from year after year the same people come back and see how much Motorbikes are just so much a part of the culture here. I think that's why this proper road racing is so successful. It's nothing but top-notch riders, top-notch performance and everything that they put on. The whole show, the paddock, everything around the circuit is top tier, which is, for someone that, like me, that's a professional circuit racer back home, some of the national level races seem a little bit more scary and stuff, but something like this that's put on to such a high level of professionalism makes me feel more comfortable about being here, and it does add an added value of safety, which in road racing is important, which makes me feel more comfortable to be able to come here and be able to race and put on the show that I do. For me, when I come to do the roads, it's to come and have an amazing experience, have an awesome time, to do something that even most pro racers on the planet never get an opportunity to do. As a racer, you always just want to be first if you can, but for me, taking into what road racing is as an experience, it's just doing the best that I can every single lap and constantly improving. As long as I constantly improve and at least beat somebody, I can't finish last. I came all the way from America to be here. Nothing's gonna stop me from riding. So women are tougher than guys anyways. I think if anyone can do it, I can.
Road racing's the best thing in the world. The best thing in the world. It's always a challenge on a real road course. This year I'm just racing in the Super Twins class because this year I'm racing Super Twins and sidecars. They don't have the sidecars here anymore. But I've raced 400s, 600s, 1000s here. We're right on the coast here, which obviously adds to the weather and brings in some interesting conditions. You know, I do think they're in a different level sort of compared to the TT regards promotion, etc., and not being as well known. And I think it's slightly unfair. I see Ireland as the capital of road racing because it's got so many. It's got all the Irish nationals that happen as well. So yeah, they need to do something about that because people need to know about this absolute spectacle and how we get to race at 200 miles an hour on real roads that get closed off for us to compete on. The hospitality here is second to none. You know, they just welcome you with open arms. They love the sport and you get that feeling from everyone when you come here and you race. These events attract, you know, quality racers and some of those are female. And that's what's great about the sport. There's no reason why women can't be successful and competitive. Even more so now, you know, I've seen it evolve over the many years I've been involved. You know, bikes are changing and opportunities are getting better for women. And that's what I'm really pleased to see. I'm a big fan of Northern Ireland anyway. I've got roots here and I feel like I come home when I get to race here. So.
I definitely enjoy being in Northern Ireland. It does have a strong kind of connection with me. It could be a little bit to do with like the way I grew up. You know, it's a bit more sort of rural in Australia. It's somewhat farming kind of feel and community, and Northern Ireland's a little bit like that. You know, you sort of come here and it feels a little bit more rural and spread out, and there's fields and cows and sheep and farming, and you know, I mean, it does have that sort of connection to home a little bit in that way too.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of coming across to the Northwest 200 originally as a competitor going back many years, and once you come for the first time you kind of see what the event entails, how friendly the local people are and just how accommodating everybody is, and I've been fortunate enough to be invited back in a role in the media and broadcasting for the past 20 years, and I've rarely missed a year since then, and each and every year you kind of look forward to coming because it's a race meet with a little bit of a difference. When we're at BSB, it's all bang, 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 very intense, you know, from first thing in the morning through to last thing at night, which is absolutely fantastic. And here it's just a little bit different because it's over a week and it's a lot more relaxed and the riders go for a beer and everything else.
But yeah, I love it, you know, the atmosphere is fabulous. It's just pretty much the atmosphere with all of the spectators, because they're coming now from all around Europe and across the world. Nobody's been here for 3 years, same with all the other road races, so the tension's building, all the grandstands are sold out, so the atmosphere is getting brilliant.
Well, it's in our blood, you see, in the old days, but the Northwest has always been something special.
I've decided not to go out in the Super Twin race because we're up against it with a few problems with the bike, and in these conditions Yeah, they're so brave. Everyone's so brave racing in these conditions on real roads, and it's not for me anymore. There wouldn't be anything for me to gain from this. This is a mass start, and you really can't see anything. If you're in at the front, you've got a better chance, but if you're middle or back of the pack, you are just in water. It's quite a scary experience.
Here we go then. Wait for the national flag to be raised, and we're away for 6 laps of Supersport Racing. The straight engineering Supersport boys are away now, and the photo cabin Nickel Oil's Northwest 200. Our first race of the week. Seeley tight as well. Seeley absolutely wiped their nose, and that's exactly what he needed to do. So David Todd still chasing Alistair Seeley. 34 is Seeley, 74 is Todd. But then, right there is McLean on the 56 bike from the 99 of McWilliams. That is Julian Trummer, who starts off the second wave. Jimbo Hillier up the inside of Alistair Seeley, not quite. Seeley manages to swipe across his nose. 37 is Hillier on the link road now up to the Ballysally roundabout. Great start. I've got to say that has been a fantastic start up front from Davey Todd. Keep an eye on him. I'll tell you what though, Jeremy McWilliams in this kind of move, he is a weapon. How many times have we seen McWilliams in the wet? And he's got that kind of experience. Wet weather is about experience. So, Davey Todd leads at the moment on the number 74 machine.
The two at the moment, Seeley only just squeezing side by side, they're neck and neck.
Seeley looking absolutely majestic here. He's got it done. It is going to be Alistair Seeley that wins the Strain Engineering Supersport Race. The 4 laps have been immaculate from Alistair Seeley.
You know, I wanted to reach that 25 milestone of wins, and it came, you know, quite early in the week, where the first race we got it done. It wasn't an easy race.
It's going to be a long time before anybody ever breaks Alistair Seeley's record. You know, and it's unless there's some of the up-and-coming younger guys who are going to be here for a long number of years, that record's going to sit there for a long, long time.
It was beautiful Northern Irish weather, as you would say. It started raining during the Supersport session, so we had about 2/3 of the track dry, 1/3 wet, which happens on these long road courses. It was a little scary, but you go through so many emotions while you're out there, like, is this worth it? And even in the pouring rain, like terrible cold weather conditions, there's still fans all over the racetrack, and they're out there in their rain gear and their welly boots, and they're just cheering you on. And then when you see stuff like that, you're like, absolutely, this is what you're here for. You're here to do a show. You know, everything about road racing is overcoming adversity and becoming better and better. And the only way you're going to become a better road racer is to get out in conditions that are scary. And, you know, it's interesting to me because people always say, oh, you're fearless or you have no fear, and that's not true. We do have fear, but I just feel like you have more determination than you do fear.
There's sections of the track that give you emotions of significance, and then of course, like the top speed, you know you sort of, it feels like the road becomes narrower and narrower the quicker you go. So certain parts of the track, you know, you have different thought processes, and you know, you go through different emotions. If you're scared of heights, you know, it's that feeling of that self-preservation. It's something within. It's not really a conscious, it's a subconscious thing in you that stops you from doing something that you think's dangerous to yourself. I think that's what divides how you ride the most. I mean, I don't really consciously think, oh, this is going to be a slippery corner, or oh, there's a big cliff, as you call it, over there. You know, I need to ride slow here. It's like a subconscious thing. You kind of just, you ride to a level where, yeah, okay, it's everything in life is risky, but you kind of ride to a level where that inner self-preservation is comfortable. It doesn't sort of shout at you going, oh, you're taking too much risk. And I don't really know a better way to describe it. It just feels like there's that natural instinct it tells you where the line is of where not to cross.
The big thing is the straights. Because of the high speed, the tyre manufacturers, they all have to have like a rear tyre what's got a section of hard rubber in the centre, because otherwise they'd come apart because of the high speed. That's the thing what changes here a lot is the wind. If it blows down the straight, you know, you can pick up an extra 10 miles an hour. Vice versa, you can lose, you know, and your gearing is very, very critical here. Even on the big bikes you think they'd pull gearing, but when you're sitting there, when a motorcycle gets to 200 miles an hour, the aerodynamics on a bike changes massively. It's not the most aerodynamic thing in the world, you know, you need a lot of horsepower to push it through it going down there 200 mile an hour. It's like really opens your eyes, but it does make you, when you come in you go, wow, like you could never do this anywhere in the world, like, you know, it's fantastic. I used to come here when I first come here, and I'd be the only probably BSB rider or one or two people, you know, and you know, look at it now, it's Josh Brooks and Glenn and all the lads. So it's good. It attracts these kind of people because the circuit, the TT is hard. You know, it takes a long time to learn it. For any professional rider, really, it doesn't take a lot to learn this place. It's quite, if you're good on the brakes and you don't mind a bit of danger, because all racing's dangerous, but you know, obviously you've got more because this is a road circuit.
It's very unique that you're, you know, travelling it so far on one straight for so long at such a high speed. Pretty special for the rider because you don't get to experience that much in your life. Then, you know, one of the favourite parts of my track is University, where you come up and through a roundabout. So it turns into a scratcher's circuit there. It turns into what I feel is like a real circuit. You've got part of what it feels like a natural circuit environment, and then you're back out again onto the long straights. Once you get down into Metropole, then you're onto that beautiful coastal road, which is sweeping and blind crests and late braking points through chicanes and lovely sweeping bends again, you know, over a hill crest and onto the start finish. It is like, you know, 2 or 3 circuits in one. I enjoy riding in the wet. You know, you're finding your way, feeling the patches. There are slippier areas where you need to take more care, and places where you can really push on. So to me, I enjoy riding this racetrack, but whether it's wet or dry, to be honest. It's a little bit more tricky, believe it, in the dry than it is in the wet for me. Because you've got more riders in the mix. You know, the bunches become more bunched up, and you know, in the slipstream in particular, where you'll see in the Supersport Race where there's 5 abreast going into University, where the slipstream effect really brings riders that are a little bit further behind into one bunch. So I think that's what's really, certainly that's what's very, very unique about this, because it's a mass start, unlike the TT. And it means that, you know, you can have 10 riders fighting for first place. And it's lovely to beat riders that are more like half your age. I think that's what makes it special for me, is because, yeah, you can hold your own here. It's not really absolutely physically challenging. It's more mentally challenging than it is physical. I'm doing this for a bit of fun. I come here and just do it as a week of bringing my family and friends up onto the north coast. As long as I can keep doing this, you know, and feel that I'm doing it safely enough and within my own limits, I'll come back again. I've won GPs in the past and stood in the top box and stood on the rostrum with Valentino Rossi and, you know, many great riders before, but you'd never think that you're going to relive those moments. And coming here, when there's 100,000 people standing by, watching and cheering on and enjoying the racing, to stand on the podium here, particularly on the top, is a really special feeling, as it would be in any major event. You know, I managed to do it at Daytona this year. Again, something that probably wasn't expected. So to win there and stand on the very top step and then come here again and hopefully do it again, repeat it, there's nothing else like that. There's no other feeling like that. It's all about racking up those history-making results that you know, that nobody can take away from you, and you know, they're in the history books forever. So
Winning here at the Northwest 200 that's really what makes it so special. Standing on the podium is also very special, but yeah, of course you're always looking for that one better position, and it's a little bit, you know, that's why I'm returning, because you don't really get a buzz like that anywhere else in the world.
The competition this year is phenomenal, especially here at the Northwest 200. I think you can choose from the entry list maybe 12 to 15 riders that are capable of winning, and that's a strong field. That's a really, really strong field. I've been coming here now since 2014. Been racing. In fact, the Northwest 200 was my first ever road race before I did the TT. As it's always generally within 2 weeks of the TT, so it's a really good build-up for anybody that wants to go and race at the Isle of Man. Yeah, it's a technical and fast piece of tarmac, and actually one of the best bits of tarmac in racing, like full stop. It's the way it flows and runs through. You go under the railway bridge and then up to Black Hill. It's awesome. I always have a massive smile on my face when I run through, particularly that section where you're going under the railway bridge. It's just really good fun. It's really good fun. And I've not won a Superbike race here at the Northwest 200. So I've won the Isle of Man TT, I've won at the Ulster Grand Prix, I've won at the Macau Grand Prix. There's pretty much 4 big international road races. They're the 4. And I've won the Superbike race at 3 of them events, but not here at the Northwest. We're all in it because we like the rush. You know, bikes are a very freeing contraption. You know, anybody who rides a bike will understand what I mean by that, when you can go into your own little world. We get to do that on a very extreme basis. Put yourself away from real life. You can go off into your own little dreamland. And to do it and race with other people that are like-minded, because obviously everybody here is like-minded, we're all very similar in character one way or another. To be able to do that with them sorts of people and all enjoy it and respect each other is what life's about, I think. And I think I can speak for all riders when I say it's absolutely epic. We all love it.
Yeah, do you know, whenever you're here and the weather's like this, it kind of makes you think that I definitely wouldn't want to do it, but then the likes on Tuesday when the weather was nicer, you do get that buzz, you get that little bit. I'm a motorbike rider, I love racing, racing's my passion, and it's hard to not want to do it at them times, but I need to be 100% committed to it, and at the minute I don't have that commitment. In all honesty, I want to focus on the BSB stuff, and I think that's where my priority is at the minute.
Everyone knows that I'm from Macau, and Macau is one of the famous road races that we have in the world. So growing up there, that was one of the races, one of the big events that happens each year. That was really what I knew first. So obviously coming here to the Northwest, it's very similar to what I was used to back in Macau. So I actually absolutely love it.
We get to the Turkington Superstock Race then, our second race on Thursday, preceding the full race on Saturday. Watch the flag, the lights are away. Who's got wheel spin? Look at Richard Cooper. Richard Cooper lights it up on the 47, goes up behind Alistair Seeley. Todd's gone past Seeley. Seeley happy to slot in beside him. That's what Todd didn't do in the Supersport Race, if you remember.
Hickman in 4th.
Malasali roundabout, the magic roundabout. Second gear all the way through here.
Seeley is looking to make a bit of a gap already. Driving off of there, that's the Yamaha out in front, the IFS Yamaha.
Alistair Seeley, the wee wizard, has absolutely worked some magic around this track.
Next one back is, of course, Robert Dunlop, but it's not going to. Michael Rutter on 14.
Here's Alistair Seeley, who makes a double out of day one here. Absolutely superb, imperious ride then. Alistair Seeley takes the Superstock Race of the day.
It was a dream start to the week, and we'll see what we can do for the next 4 races for me. We have Supersport's first race for me, followed by Superbike, and then there'll be a Super Twin, which I don't do, so that'll be a bit of a break for me. Pretty tough day because it's 2 races back to back, wee bit of rest in the middle, and then go again last 2. I'll probably keep coming back, like Jeremy Williams, 58, 59, still in the mix in all the races, still winning races in America and stuff. So as long as you keep yourself fit, healthy and competitive and have a good group of people around you with family and sponsors and team members, then, you know, I don't see why we can't keep going.
The Northwest 200 first was commenced in 1929. It was introduced initially by a bunch of enthusiasts, and these guys in 1929 decided they wanted to run a road race. So the road race initially was in the northwest of the province, which was in their area. The enthusiasts then fell out at one stage, okay, and there was a disagreement within the camp. So they moved the event from that area to Portrush. And the first event in 1930 actually started outside the Maharaboy Hotel, which is only a few miles from here on the course itself. And because at that stage the riders started off on an individual basis, they completed 200 miles in total, so it was called the Northwest 200, and that's how it got its name. In 1973, the race went through the town of Portstewart, went up the main street of Portstewart. Actually, it didn't run that particular year because of the troubles in Northern Ireland, and the government in Northern Ireland said that they wouldn't allow any highly populated events in town areas itself. So the event was cancelled because of the troubles in that particular year, because their concern was that there may be bombs left in those particular towns itself. So the event was cancelled in '73. It then kicked off again in 1974. And the new route was down towards York Corner and then towards Coleraine. At that stage then it went towards what we call Shell Bridge, which is further up from University Corner. And it came from there then back to Portrush. In 1978, the road service introduced a new, what they call the link road, which meant that when you go to University Corner, you turn left and go to Ballysally roundabout. So that route has been used ever since. We've introduced then a number of chicanes, like Juniper Chicane was introduced back in 1979 because we had a couple of fatalities over at Juniper itself, and the other chicanes then were introduced years after that. I've had 5 fatalities in 20 years, and every one of those has been different at the end of the day, but it's hard to accept. It honestly is hard to accept. The big thing about it is that you get to know these guys, you know, and they're friends at the end of the day, you know. I've never ever got into signing a contract with any rider over my 30-odd years. Never do it with any of the teams. It's a phone call, we make an agreement, I write down details, and that's it, full stop. But it's been difficult, I have to say, and some of the guys who were taken away were, you know, great lads altogether, you know, but it has an effect on you, there is no doubt about it.
Gary Mason, obviously I used to be a professional motorcycle racer. I've done the Northwest 200 in 2010, 2011. But one thing, like any sport and road racing, there's a dark side to it. So when it goes wrong, it goes horribly wrong. And obviously we stood on the corner where one of my best friends, Simon Andrew, so obviously one of my best friends perished here. Simon Andrews just shows how close it is from absolutely fantastic to absolutely catastrophic. You know, as you come through here, obviously you're coming from like nearly 200 miles an hour, hard on the brakes, back to second gear, and then you short you straight away up to third, and then you come flying out of here. But sadly, you just clipped the curb on the exit of this turn, which caused a hairline fracture, and obviously deflating front tyre, and sadly causing him to go over the handlebars, and well, everybody knows what happened from there. So it just shows how close it is from being fantastic to going very wrong. The one thing I will say though, that's part of the reason why we do this sport, is because you live more in 30 seconds doing this than most people in a lifetime. I don't think he would have changed anything other than obviously not clipping the curb, because he knew the risks, and but I can't tell you how good it is. When it's good, it's phenomenal, but sadly, you know, when it's bad, it's really bad. Like, I think he wouldn't change anything. I don't honestly believe he would have changed anything. Family liaison, so this is where obviously they can bring the family, because they're very organised. So when it goes wrong, this is somewhere they can bring the family, and they obviously can take them out through the side, you know, out of the way of everybody. So they obviously have, experts to deal with the families and everything. So they're really on point when it comes to, looking after riders, family and girlfriends and things if the worst does happen.
It's a dangerous sport. It's public roads, furniture as we call it. You have hedges, walls, houses, lampposts, curbs. They do a great job at making it as safe as they can. Curb protection, a lot of air fencing, but it's still an extremely dangerous sport. It is, and as riders we know that. We don't come here and ride at 50%. We come here and ride at 100% like we do on a track, but calculate it a little bit more. We maybe change our approach to probably take the risk of crashing, make it lower. But yeah, it's weird. The week before I come here, I've had it where I've been on a treadmill and I've had to get off the treadmill. You think about it, and when you think about what's coming ahead, you think of the good, and as humans we think of the good and the bad. So you think of trophies, race wins, and then you think of what we all know what can happen. It has happened and it will happen again, but it's part of the sport. It's part of the adrenaline. This is the best sport in the world, and this place really highlights it.
This is an event which is managed by a number of unpaid officials, and the recognition from we get from government in Northern Ireland is very, very poor. Our local council, to be fair, have been very good and very supportive. Put a lot of fencing up for us, build the course for us, give us good assistance. There's 1 or 2 people who are managing this event for 11 months of the year. It's a massive operation. And it's all around making sure that everything is right, that it's detail at the end of the day. It's making everything look as good as possible where people can come and enjoy themselves. Okay, so on Tuesday morning, when the roads close, what we actually do is we have a guy on a motorcycle. The roads close at 9:15. So from 8 o'clock we have a guy on a motorcycle who's just continually going round and round and round. Then we send out our stewards for an inspection of the course. I then would do an inspection and check, okay, which vehicles, are there vehicles parked on the course? Yes they are, we need to get them removed. That is the issue and the problem. And then because it's a road race, it's not like your BSB events, which are completely different. We can have so many different things. We had a dog out on the course on Tuesday night. Okay, on the last practice session, which we had to get off the course, if you like, ran across the course itself, so the guys had to catch that. We had a pregnant lady at Church Corner who wanted to get to the hospital between practice sessions. So when I came around then, we had to get the ambulance to take her to the hospital. We have had every scenario under the sun, which has happened at the Northwest, But it happens and you just deal with it and you move on.
I'm actually still not recovered. I crashed pretty bad about 2 weeks ago, racing in America. And I remember sliding on the ground and all I could think about was, oh no, I'm going to Ireland in 2 weeks. That was more important. I still have road rash on my knee, and I still have some broken bones in my foot and my hand. I actually had to buy a boot size up just to fit it on my right foot so that I could be here, but your right foot's not as important as your left foot. It's kind of part of the sport. I think safety gear is so important. So much, whether you ride on the street or obviously to the level that we're doing, safety gear is what saves you when you have a crash. And there's good crashes and bad crashes, and I think it's just kind of a love of a sport. You have to, as a racer, know that you're gonna crash. You have to accept that. And if you crash bad enough that you can't do it again, then obviously it's not a good career choice for you. But yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I've had some pretty bad crashes, but all I could think about is my motorbike okay, and when can I race again? I just think that, I don't know if there's something special or something wrong with this that makes us that level of crazy that want to continue racing. But yeah, just get back up, get back on the motorcycle as soon as you can.
Self-preservation is one way of saying it. For me, I think the way I've always described it is calculated risk. And whether you want to take certain risks or not take certain risks, I think that depends on a few things. It depends on the race that you're in, depends on what point of the race you're in, depends on the rider you're racing, depends on yourself and the machine that you're on and what you understand as your capabilities or your machine's capabilities. If you're really in tune with what's going on inside your bubble and what you think is going on inside your competitor's bubble, then sometimes it's worth the extra risk, sometimes it's not. And I think the clever riders will work that out fairly quickly, and then it's up to the rider then to understand or want to or not want to, or make that decision of, yes, it is worth the risk, I can have a go and I think I'm all right, or no, I'm not in that position to actually have a go.
It's just you have to take it in your stride. I think it's the same for everybody, so you don't try and like get too down on the fact that it's that the weather's disappointing me. It's the same for everybody. I think the important thing is to stay safe, not to try and continue to push when the weather's suggesting that it's time to ease off a bit. I think it's critical that you recognise where you're at and what you can do, and that's the same sort of sensation that, if you were winning the race, what stops you from going even quicker and quicker and quicker? At some point you get to that level where you feel like that's where the limit is for today, and I'm comfortable to go around here this fast and it feels good and I'm okay with it, and that's where I'm going to draw the line. You're forever exploring where that line is. It's never a fixed line that's just there permanently. You're always trying to just nudge it on a bit further. That's natural with development and speed, but you have to then at the same time respect when you get there and that feels like that is the limit. You have to be able to and be willing to go, right, that's where we're at today, and just hold it up.
I don't think anybody ever thinks about the consequences or crashing, or I think if you did, you wouldn't actually be here anyway. The same with the short circuit racing. When I go short circuit racing, the worst can happen. Sometimes it does. I think that's also the risk element is needed, actually, and if we sanitize it too much, then the whole experience completely disintegrates for me. It's not the risk element is part of what I enjoy about doing this. Road racing obviously heightens that more because there is more risk. So then the feeling during and after is more than what you can get anywhere else.
Here we go then. Here we go. Watch those lights down. Lights are on, and when they go out, we're underway. Richard Cooper to the right-hand side of the 47 machine. Peter Hickman riding the Aprilia. He's down in 10th position at the moment. Cooper is gone. He's absolutely nailed it. That's what you would want to do on the first lap. Here's McWilliams. Slipstream City, especially on a nice little twin like this, you've got to really get that bang on dead right. Oh, look at this. Typical Northwest 200. Evan Williams on the 99, looking at the inside of the 22. Yeah. Oh, round the outside, Lee Johnson. You cannot surely do that. He's done all he's done up the inside of church. So then back towards the coast road. Cooper leads. Jordan behind. McWilliams making a bit of a recovery. This has been the biggest margin we've seen so far this week. Richard Cooper then. Yes. Checkered flag is out. Takes the win of our opening race day here on Saturday.
We've finished on a really good high, in a really good place. Actually finished the race I think in 13th. Which I think my best ever finish is 12th, and of course the sunshine helped today, and it was really great to be road racing again. I can't tell you, it feels good.
It seems to be like all the grandstands were booked up, sold out. It just seems to be because we have had that 2 years of COVID, everybody's busting to see motorbikes again, especially road racing. They've kind of been starved of the road racing scene. There's nowhere better to be, and I would say the action's going to be very, very close.
Away they go, oh, bit in the air for Davey there. Davey Todd got it launched, and that has really messed up his start. He's going to be swamped now. And it's Alex Alistair Seeley, number 34, out in front. Who's that? Someone's wide there.
Dean Harrison. Dean Harrison on number 2 is coming for it as well. Bottom gear, blasting up to the Mill Road roundabout now. They'll have to think a little bit more about Station Corner than the Super Twins did the preceding race, that's for sure. Here comes Michael Dunlop. Michael Dunlop is there for the 34 of Alistair Seeley. Here we go, Lee Johnson then in front of David Todd again. David Todd will drop in behind Lee Johnson, slipstream if he can. Look at the power of the Paget Honda. Wheeling that 600cc motorcycle past Lee Johnston. 36 is Coward, still in there. Oh! Ilya has gone down. Todd got anything? I don't think so. I think Lee Johnson has outsmarted David Todd. David Todd might have the passing motorbike, but it's the number 1 that's going to win over the line. It is the checkered flag. It is Lee Johnston. And David Todd outsmarted by Lee Johnston.
Unreal.
The front brake adjuster had broken off, so the brake lever was actually adjusting itself further and further out, and it kind of, because it was going further out, it was starting to struggle to reach it, so it's just too dangerous to do something like that, especially with brakes. So the bike felt a little bit down in speed as well, and the temperature was up quite high, so it's kind of, I think it's just one of them with the brake, and the bikes seemed to be getting slower and slower. It was just smart to pull in and do the right thing, so a bit disappointed, you know, but I think it would have been a hard race if the brake hadn't messed up and we had stayed out there, because we seemed to be dropping back and back on speed. So we'll just crack on with the next one, see how we get on. You know, we're on a Superstock bike. I went faster on it than the Superbike, so we'll just hang in there and see what we can do against the bigger, probably bigger capacity machine, or the more horsepower machine, sorry, and see where we end up in the end, you know. Looking at the lap times, what I done on the Superstock bike would have put us about 6th in the Superbike, so kind of aiming for top 6 in the Superbike, and that would be a bonus.
Yeah, I think getting the more track time is critical. If you ride every class, not only does it give you an opportunity to win a race and find that if you have a problem with a bike or there's a certain category that you're not excelling in, then you can kind of make up for it in one of the other classes that you're riding, and like I said, get more and more laps. You know, the more classes you run, the more opportunities you get on the track to learn more and improve your skills and fine tune. At short circuit racing, you do so many laps. If you just rode one class, it doesn't really matter, because you end up doing 80 laps in a day anyway. So if you can't figure out the best way around in 80 laps, most of the time you've figured out the best way around in about 10, but you're forever working on tuning the bike and finding that last 10th in the machine. Whereas on a circuit like this, I think, and particularly that pattern sort of is very well set in street racing in general, it's probably, of course the motorcycle setup is extremely critical, but I think there's so much more you can gain out of yourself just by applying yourself and adjusting your technique to improve. So the more categories you ride in and the more laps you get, the more opportunities you get to learn that on the circuit. But for me, because of contractual requirements with the brand and the team, I'm only riding the Superbike. So it'll just be the Superbike class that I ride in. In some ways, I'm missing out because I'm not getting all those other categories practice sessions to learn the track and improve more. But at this point I'm in my career, I'm very experienced, so I can lean on experience to sort of make up for that deficit a little bit. And also the focus is maybe a little bit more direct, because I haven't got the other bikes to dilute my focus. I can just keep it all on the Superbike and that one bike and that one category.
Nerves, yes. What is it called? The buzz for road racing. I'm not nervous. I'm actually thrilled. Blue skies, sun shining, dry racetrack. I haven't had a full day like this before. It's more like just anxious, like I'm ready to go. It's like telling a kid to go to sleep on Christmas Eve when they can see all the presents under the tree. Like, I know it's there and I want it. I feel strong, I feel confident. I know I'm gonna go really fucking fast and whoop ass.
Here we go then, getting ready, watch the red lights. When they go out, we're away, here he goes. Oh, Glenn Irwin had to really use his body to get that bike back over again. Harrison slots into second place at the moment, and it looks to me like Pete Hickman just got swamped at the start there. So then, a slight kink at the end of the straight here into the braking area at University. Everybody watching for this as they come over a slight rise. It is the number one of Glenn Irwin. Oh, Hickman's made a mess of it.
You know what he's saying, I can tell you, but I can't repeat it.
Ali Sally roundabout for the first time.
Marsman, 74, Todd.
Cummings is there in sixth place. Brooks is seventh at the moment. Seeley, Hutchinson, Rutter. Still Dean Harrison looking very neat and tidy on bike number 5 behind Richard Cooper. Cooper that might end up winning this if Davey Todd doesn't get it absolutely right up the inside of Glenn Irwin. Irwin has got it right now. We're going down to the Macroboy chicane now. Here we go, Davey Todd picking up a slipstream. I don't think he's close enough to make the break, is he? He's looking at the inside line down into Macroboy. Glenn Irwin's no mug. He's looking across. Can he make it work? Davey Todd's going to try it out, braking into Metropole. Metropole is where it's going to get done. Can Irwin get under it? Yes, he can. Irwin makes it underneath, and this is the last lap, I remind you. Onto the coast road we go. It's up to Black Hill now. Who's got the power? And there is another little bubble from the man on the 74 machine. He can't get the power down. If he can make a pass here, he'll be a miracle worker. It is going to be Glenn Irwin, surely, into the final chicane. Checker flag is made ready. The number one bike. So the applause of the crowd here. He takes his fifth win on the drop, on the bounce. It's Glenn Irwin.
This here is by far the best entry. Like, it was never going to be easy. I was nerve-wracked, like, but even in me in the end was going, come on, Glenn, like, where, no, it was fantastic, like, brilliant. It must be brilliant to watch out around there as well, like, so it looks like he's going to go here all day. Lap records, yeah, my nerves shaking.
I think the fans probably witnessed, one of the best Superbike races in history. That's the hardest one I've ever had around here. Really happy with the win. You want more. We can improve the bike. Instability was an issue, as was Williams. So if we are to win the next one, we do need to improve. But we've got all the data now. Let's look at it. hats off to Davey and the Coops as well. But yeah, Davey's one of my best mates. You know, I will be pissed with him tonight. Simple as that, and I look forward to it.
Glenn, first rider ever to have 5 back-to-back Superbike wins. What a day for it, what a day. And look at the weather here. Who'd have thought that on Tuesday and Thursday?
28th. We finished 28th, which is awesome because I want to say there was 54 to 58 people that qualified, which is quite a large grid. And we didn't do super good. Our best qualifying time wasn't in Superbike. Our best qualifying time was in Superstock. But I rode my stock 1000 in the Superbike race, so just more seat time, gonna keep going up.
I have no words for my sister. She's just phenomenal. She's awesome. I can't believe it. It's a little scary. I'm a little, nervous, but I have to trust that she knows what she's doing, and we're just out here to have fun. And that's really what she wants to do, just have fun.
Well, we got through it nice and safely, but I don't think we're really at the races today. Good start Tuesday night. Tuesday through the day. Thursday wasn't as good for us. But I think Josh built a bit of confidence up there, so we had a half-decent result with a 4, so we'll see if we can sneak a podium in race 2.
We did the Superbike race. Unfortunately, we have a bit of a tyre issue, so I have decided to pull off the remainder of the racing for the safety of my riders. It's a bit disappointing, but obviously safety comes first. I think what we just have to do is look forward to the TT now. While we were in the Superbike race, Pete actually did the lap record here, so not all bad, but a bit disappointed for here, but we'll just have to see. Wait for the next road race. It's been fantastic being here. Obviously, I've been to the Northwest 200 in 2018 and 19, but at the time, it wasn't really my team. I was with another team. So this year, coming back to having my own team, my own riders, it's special. And looking forward to coming back next year. So, I enjoyed it.
Waiting for the start. Cooper on the right. Poleman 47. Will he get the whole shot? He's light. He's fast. He's been a winner already. Pian's going to go for the inside on the brakes at York. You can be fairly sure of that when they're this tight. They stream along the coast. This is it. Over the hill. Now into that braking area.
Oh, Pian goes wide. He's not going to stop.
He's
up the slip road, or he's into the barrier.
He's up someone's driveway. Now then, looking for slipstream, trying to find where that might come from. Chicane we are at, and swiftly through. Johnson back in front. Yeah. Well, look at this. Johnson's bike again doesn't look sharp, did it? It didn't look sharp in the first race today, did it? And again, it isn't. Here comes Johnson again in the race. Up the inside of McWilliams. McWilliams looks to the left, pulls his knee in because Lee Johnson is right there. Here we go then, again, slipstream. Lee Johnson goes back a place. So Lee Johnson under attack. We're watching for the brakes. Lee Johnson's about to get mugged yet again as we get down towards the next chicane. Williams, I know these guys are tripping themselves up, and that's... Elkin goes about. No. That's what happens when you get... There's a big dip just there as well.
There's no question in my mind that Jeremy Williams is going to be right on the back of him as they get to the end of this straight. In fact, it'll be before that. Look at that. It is just absurd, really. That's horrible. It's horrible to see, actually.
Johnson, McWilliams, Coward, Sweeney.
This is obviously this is for the podium, isn't it? Last place on the podium we're looking at here right now.
For the 47, Richard Cooper for the second time today under the sun in Northwest. He's going to take the checkered flag. It's out. He casually rides across the line.
Probably the best bit of racing I've seen, you know, for a number of years. Really challenging, that type of thing. Conditions here are really, really good today. With a bit of sunshine, the roads are perfect in condition. Massive crowds around here today. I honestly have never seen crowds like this in my time in the Northwest, you know. So get the last couple of races over safely here. We're in good stead for the future.
Here we go then. Watch the lights. This is it. Superstock a go. Glenn Irwin gets a great start. He looks across. Is anybody going to get under him? Is it going to be Alistair Seeley? It is Alistair Seeley. Managed to get the drop. We have got 6 laps here, and this is going to be one of those wars of attrition as we power down now to York Corner. Oh, he's up the inside. Glenn Irwin goes for it straight
surely
away.
deep into that. And right out to the edge. He's going to lose some pad. That allowed Todd to get through. Side by side, and that's Seeley and I think Todd, and I think that's Irwin, Glenn Irwin, that's just got joined the party.
Who's he going to be into the braking area at University, I wonder, as they slot line astern through the kinks here. I think Irwin's pulled out on purpose. Jamie Todd goes by it. Down. Jamie Todd has gone off the track.
Oh,
yes. Hutchie's gone straight on now. That looks like he's got a problem as well. Alistair Seeley then. Dunlop next up. Then it's the 66 machine. So that's a great ride there.
Dunlop in front.
Well, there you go. Maybe he thinks he's got the pace to be able to pull away from Alistair Seeley, and he's not going to hang around behind him.
Oh, he's done it again. That was a massive slipstream there from Michael Dunlop. B-trap times, 201 for Michael Dunlop,
wow.
Seeley 158.
He's gone straight on. Looking at that battle for third place at the moment, it is Todd in front of Harrison, Dean Harrison. Harrison gets good drive again, he's going to come alongside Todd. .34 Alistair Seeley then into Metropole for the last time in this CP Hire Superstock Race. Church Corner we are, squirting it up towards the coast, under the railway bridge. .34 Alistair Seeley. It was a 4.1 second lead he had. He doesn't care how big the distance is. He sees the checkered flag again this week. 27 wins to this man's name around this track.
Nice to get 3, especially the wet conditions on Thursday, very, very tricky. And then today, 600 race was a bit disappointing. We had a sort of like a mechanical with the brake adjuster failed. And then the engine was quite slow for some reason. So Superbike Race, we gathered good information in the Superbike Race for that Superstock Race with the tyres and the feeling. Made a couple of small changes and then just kind of waited on the mistakes that came from the Honda boys. Michael also made a mistake and then just controlled it from there. Watched my pit board, 6 laps, long way around, plenty of sweat lost. And I think that'll be us now. We'll enjoy the rest of the day.
Well, Patricia's quite good. She's beaten quite a lot of fellas there, you know what I mean? And she's the middle of the pack there. Hopefully things work out for us.
Bike crazy, yes. She's obsessed, basically, yes. And it's like if she's not on two wheels, she's not the same person. Like she was just born to be on two wheels.
I'm going for a top 25, baby. I think we can get it.
Here we go then, watching the lights. A small grid, but a perfectly formed grid, and they go out, and away we go. Glenn Irwin again, a little bit of a lift, but a good launch from him. As they stream along the coast road, a small but perfectly formed bunch of motorcycle racers for the Northwest 200.
Richard Cooper there in second place, there Hutchie in third, and Josh Brooks in fourth.
Up towards the Mill Road roundabout we go then. Out through the greenery then we go. Through the chicane, full power, off the line now. Most people will expect him to do. I'm not convinced he will be able to do that over the full 7 laps. This is your race leader and second place man. Richard Cooper chasing. Glenn Irwin powering through up towards Cremore, up towards the station corner. Still it's Glenn Irwin in front of Richard Cooper. Has Cooper got the pace? Heading up the coast road now. It was just under a second between Irwin and Cooper last time. Josh Brooks in third place on the 72 machine, the PBM Paul Bird Motorsport. Number one, Glenn Irwin then comes to Metropole for the last time, and this is where the fans are up on the banking. What a comeback it's been. It is Glenn Irwin that will take the final race win of the week here. The 2022 Northwest 200 winner is Glenn Irwin.
The big races are what I love winning and thoroughly enjoyable. I loved it out there. I felt like I controlled the race a bit and could enjoy it. The people were waving everywhere and it's just incredible. It's the best sport in the world and probably the best event in the world in my eyes. And you know, like you can go and watch MotoGP. It's good and all, but this is different gravy, this, isn't it?
When you don't win, you've got to look at where you can improve. So I think 8 years away is an area I need to focus on. But pleased to come away with a podium at the end, so that's not so bad.
We were able to get P25 in the Stock 1000 race. Every single time I went 8-9 seconds quicker than I did in the first race of the day. I mean, when you don't have a lot of seat time here and you haven't been on a bike, it's constantly getting quicker, so I was happy, but I said I wanted a top 20 was my goal that I set before I started the Superbike race, and well, we achieved it. I had some really good battles, like not even joking, the whole entire race, almost the last lap, like 4 or 5 battles within every other turn. It was hard work, it wasn't easy. I took home a P17, fastest female that was out there, first female finisher, and I'm absolutely chuffed, as you would say here, and I can't wait to come back next year because I'm going to go even faster. I want to kick my own butt again. I want to beat my own times again, and I want to just keep moving forward. So this is only my second time ever at the Northwest 200, and I got P17 in the premier Superbike race. Are you kidding me? Can you imagine where we're going to go? We're going to keep going up.
The biggest Northwest crowd that I've ever seen. And as I say, I've been coming for 20 years. So that's testament to the fact we've all been locked up for 2 years. And I had my doubts as to whether the Northwest would actually come back after COVID. Luckily it has, and more events will come on stream. And it just goes to show that this is what we do. And we've had a great day. Some fantastic record-breaking action with Glenn Irwin doing a double. History in the making. No rider's won 5 Superbike races in a row, let alone 6. Jerry McWilliams, 58 years young, on the podium again. And absolutely fantastic racing right the way through the classes. And what's more, it's been safe, and that's the main thing. And look forward to doing it all again in 12 months' time. But it's a wonderful event. Long may it continue.
Glorious weather, absolutely brilliant racing. So it's a jewel in the crown, and the amount of people here, I've never seen it here at the Northwest 200 before, I have to say. The crowds on the Coast Road from Metropole right through New York were just something else. Absolutely massive amount of people. There has to be at least well over 100,000 people here this year, at least. It's really good, to have the likes of the Coopers and the Brooks, and it's those guys there who have came and have supported us for years and years and years, which is, they make it at the end of the day. If it wasn't for them, listen, it just would not be the same. My thanks to all our officials at the end of the day, because to be fair, if I hadn't a good team around me, this just would not happen. But our big problem is, it's just, it's getting the help and the support and the resources to make it happen at the end of the day. But as I say, hopefully we'll make it happen and we'll move forward to 2023.